Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Gold Pride Punk deck profile. So I'm really excited to do something for you guys because we just got some amazing support for this deck and I've included some really spicy tech cards in this build for you guys. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Again, your name, description, every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Gold Pride Leon, which is definitely a 3 of in the build. And this card is a really cool effect, just like all of your other Gold Pride monsters, that if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can special summon this card from your hand, meaning every single one of your Gold Pride monsters is just an extender, which is absolutely insane. This card also has the ability, if this card is normal or special summon, you can target a non-warrior Gold Pride monster in your graveyard and special summon defense vision. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the X deck for the rest of the turn except Gold Pride monsters. And this card also has a crazy powerful effect that during your opponent's turn, that's during their main phase, you can quick effect synchro summon using only Gold Pride monsters, which is a really cool effect to instantly go for a synchro play during your opponent's turn. We then play 2 copies of Captain Carey. Captain Carey is amazing as a 2 of in the build because if this card is normal or special summon, you get to add a Gold Pride trap from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool ability to instantly get to one of your Gold Pride traps because we have a really good option in the deck to be able to instantly get to our copy of Start Your Engine off this card's ability, which is a great effect. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can actually target a Gold Pride monster that you control that was special summoned from the X deck and banish up to 3 Gold Pride cards from the graveyard, and if you do, that monster gains 500 attack for each card banished, which is a really cool effect just to give you a little bit of a boost. We then play a single copy of Eliminator. Eliminator is a really awesome new card that we just got out of Legacy of Destruction, and this card is super cool because it helps you go in for your copy of your Eradicator. But this card has the ability that basically you can banish one of their Gold Pride monster from your hand, face around the field or the graveyard to be able to special summon a Gold Pride token that's a Machine Dark 0/0 with the same level as the banished monster, which is a really cool effect to be able to do to instantly get a token out on your side of the field, and that's usually going to be a level 3 to be able to synchro summon into a copy of your Eradicator. We then play a single copy of Rollerballer. Rollerballer is really cool in the deck as a 1 of because this card is basically a walking polymerization, which is really cool about this card because it's also a quick effect, so you can basically use this card to summon out your awesome fusion monsters during your opponent's turn because it is a quick effect during the main phase. We then play a single copy of Nitro Head. Nitro Head is really good because it almost is like an AoE effect. This card is really cool because it actually gives your opponent a token that they cannot use for link material, and during your opponent's main phase quick effect, you can target a Nitro token on the field, destroy that token, and also destroy all cards in the adjacent monster zones and spell and trap card zones to that token, which is a really cool effect to be able to use with this card. We then play for the Punk monsters. We're going to start with 3 copies of Z-Almond. Z-Almond is really good as a 3 of in the deck because this card is basically the Stratos for the deck that you pay 600 life points to add a Punk monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. We then play 3 copies of Foxy Tune. Foxy Tune is definitely a 3 of in the build because this card is a really cool effect that you can actually send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard and send an additional card from your hand to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon any Punk monster you want from your deck except a level 8, which is a really cool effect to instantly get the exact monster you want on the field. We then play a single copy of Ogre Dance. Ogre Dance is really good because this card is basically Rhoda for the deck, that you send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard to add a Punk monster from your deck to your hand except a level 8, which is a great effect to get to the exact card that you need. We then play a single copy of Wagon. Wagon is really good because this card can actually search our field spell with the ability that you pay 600 life points to add a Punk spell from your deck to your hand. We then play a single copy of Madam Spider. Madam Spider searches our Punk traps with the ability that you pay 600 life points to add a Punk trap from your deck to your hand, which is a really cool ability. We then play a single copy of Shirakusai. Shirakusai is a quick synchro and a quick fusion all in one card, which is really cool depending on whose turn it is. You pay 600 life points to be able to fusion summon a Punk fusion monster from your X deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, and during your opponent's turn, quick effects, you can pay 600 life points to immediately effect results, synchro summon a Punk synchro monster using monsters that you control as material, which is really cool to go in for Amazing Dragon during your opponent's turn. We then play a single copy copy of Deer Note. Deer Note is amazing in this deck as an extender, because this card is the ability to reveal one other punk monster in your hand and then special summon either the revealed monster or this card and send the other to the graveyard. And if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you get to target a punk monster in your graveyard except a level 5 monster, meaning this card, and special summon it, which is a really cool ability. We then play a single copy of Wheelator. Wheelator is just a good extender in the deck, which is why I play this card as a 1-of in the build, as if you control a level 3 monster other than a copy of Wheelator, you can actually special summon this card from your hand defense position, which is a really good effect to instantly get a level 3 tuner on your side of the field, so you can climb into level 11 synchro plays. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is just really good as a hand trap just to stop the opponent from touching the deck. We then also play 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, which is just really good this format, plus it's a psychic monster, so it's absolutely insane in this build. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Jam Extreme Session. This card is definitely a 1-of in the deck that we can actually search off our copy of Wagon, with the ability that once per turn, you can actually banish a punk card from the graveyard to special summon a punk monster from the hand, and if a psychic monster you control paid life points to activate its effects, you get to draw a card, and you can use that effect up to twice per turn, basically being a field spell version of Pot of Greed. We then play 2 copies of Better Luck Next Time. Better Luck Next Time is really cool as a Gold Pride card, because this card is basically tanky for the deck. Then when this card is activated, you can add a Gold Pride monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if you do, you lose life points equal to its attack points, which is a great effect to instantly get one of your Gold Pride monsters to your hand, while also reducing your life points by a little bit so you can special summon it out to your side of the field, which is super helpful for this card to be able to do. This card also has the ability, if a face-up Gold Pride monster you control that was special summoned from the extract returns back to the extract, except during the damage step, you can draw a card, which is a really cool ability just to basically draw an additional card. Speaking of drawing cards, we also play 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin is just too good not to play as a 3-of in the build. So you basically activate this card, draw a card, your opponent gains 1,000 life points, which will make your opponent's life points higher than yours, so you can basically start special summoning out your Gold Pride monsters to your side of the field, making this card a definite 3-of in the deck. We then play 3 copies of E-Telly. E-Telly is really good in the deck to be able to work with multiple cards, especially our Punk engine in the deck. So this card is really good to be able to special summon out our copy of Z-Almond to our side of the field, so we can go full combo with our Punk monsters. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Gold Pride, Start Your Engine. This card is really cool as a 1-of in the deck, with the ability that if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, you can target on those monsters, reveal 3 Gold Pride monsters from your deck, your opponent randomly picks one of them to special summon, and you shuffle the rest back in the deck, then destroy the targeted monster, which is a really cool ability to pop a monster while also getting a card to our hand. We then play a single copy of Dangerous Gaboo. Gaboo is really cool in the deck because this card is searchable off of Madam Spider, and it's basically just a negate, which is really cool to be able to use this card for. Is to let you target an effect monster that your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of the turn. Then if you control a punk monster, you gain life points equal to target monster's original attack, which is a pretty cool ability. We then also play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, basically just to stop your opponent's monster effects, and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps, which is really cool to be able to use this card for. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with a single copy of Eradicator. This card is the newest Gold Pride monster, and it's absolutely insane. That during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can actually target a Fusion, Synchro, XZ, or Link monster on the field, or if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can target 2 and destroy them, which is a really cool ability to use with this card. And also, once per turn, during the end phase, if the previous effect was activated this turn, return this card back to the extract, and if you do, special summon a Gold Pride Eliminator from your deck or graveyard, which is a really cool ability to basically just turn this card back into one of the materials, which helps out a lot to be able to bring this card back out to your side of the field again later. We then play a single copy of Punk Amazing Dragon, which I think has probably one of the best artworks out of any monster in the entire game. This card is so cool looking. This card is really cool because it has the ability, if it's synchro summon, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of level 3 psychic monsters with different names that you control and in your graveyard, and return them back to the hand, which is a pretty cool ability to use to basically just use Shirakusai to make this card during your opponent's turn to bounce multiple cards off the field. This card also has the ability that you can target a punk monster in your graveyard, except a copy of Amazing Dragon, and special summon it, but you can only use one effect of this card per turn and only once that turn. And then play a single copy of Psychic Punisher. This card just gets absolutely massive, and you just swing in for game, which is why I play this card as a 1-of in the deck. Play a single copy of Trishula because we can make it, and it gets absolutely crazy when you summon this card out to your side of the field, because this card is really classic and also banishes a card from your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard, which is absolutely insane. And then play a single copy of Dragite. We do play water monsters in the deck, so this card is really helpful to be able to summon out to your side of the field just as a spell trap negate. One copy of Draco Berserker. Draco Berserker is really cool because this card is a banish. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish that card, and it also is just really insane to help you go in for game. We then play a single copy of Jam Dragon Drive. This card is really cool to be able to summon out to your side of the field, because if this card is special summon the effect of a punk card, or it's synchro summon, you pay 600 life points and then take a level 3 psychic monster from the deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard, which is why I actually play Wheelater in the deck, so I can add Wheelater from my deck to my hand, special summon it, and then synchro again using this card, which is really, really cool. This card also has a really cool ability that if your opponent activates a card or effect in response to your punk card effect activation, while this card's in the graveyard, you can special summon this card, so it's very easy to bring this card back to your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Star Leon. Star Leon is super helpful in the deck, and it's absolutely massive to help you go in for the game, because during the main phase, quick effect, you can target one face-up monster that your opponent controls, and this card gains attack equal to target monster's original attack. Then, if your life points are lower than your opponent's, you can destroy that monster, which is a really cool ability. Plus, all of your extra deck Gold Pride monsters actually return back to the extra deck after they activate their effects. During basically the if you activate the previous effect, you return this card back to the extract, and if you do during the in phase, you return it back to the extract, which is really cool to basically just bounce them back and summon out the original basically driver of the vehicle, which is really awesome. We then play a single copy of Rising Carp. Rising Carp is really cool because this card can actually tag out for 2 other punk monsters, which is absolutely insane, because you can trade this card to be able to special summon out 2 punk monsters with different names from each other from your hand and or deck, except a level 8, which is really cool to instantly go in for your copy of Deer Note and another monster, so that you can basically summon out your copy of Jam Dragon Drive as long as you summon out a level 3 punk monster that you can synchro with. You then play a single copy of Pinballer, which makes me think of the Katamari ball, if you guys have ever played Katamari. And it's really cool in this deck because it has the ability, if this card's fusion summon, you can equip face-up monsters that your opponent controls up to the number of fusion materials that you use for this card, which is really cool because you basically use Rollerballer plus 1 Gold Pride monster. So you can use multiple cards to be able to use with this card to equip multiple cards to this card, and since Rollerballer is a quick effect during your opponent's turn to basically go into this card, you can interrupt your opponent's plays. We then play a single copy of Photon Lord. Photon Lord is really cool to be able to summon because this card is a negate. 1 copy of our Dingirsu, because if we summon it to our side of the field, it sends a card to the graveyard. 1 copy of Chariot Carry. Chariot Carry is just a good option in the deck because you can detach a material on this card to add a Gold Pride spell from your deck to your hand. Then if your life points are lower than your opponent, you can send a Gold Pride monster from your deck to the graveyard. We can also play a single copy of Fortune Tune, because Fortune Tune helps us go for our copy of Zeus, which is a really awesome 1-of in the build, just help us board wipe the field. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Gold Pride Punk, you should definitely give this deck a try, because it's such a cool deck to be able to mix both of those 2 archetypes together and how well they work together, because your punk monsters pay life points and your Gold Pride monsters want your life points to be lower, so you actually work extremely well together to basically just summon out some insane boss monsters, help you go in for game and control the board. So that's good for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.